Hello, my students in economics. This is Miss Tracy. So this is the spreadsheet that I created for each individual student, and every week it tracks your activities. And I took this off of your worksheet. Whatever you had on your worksheet, I just plugged it into this spreadsheet and it double-checked the calculations, made adjustments as necessary. So whenever you purchased stock, I would say minus 169, and it would come out of whatever account you allocated it, but then that money would go into your stock, your row for stocks, that stock account. So this would be positive and negative, so it'd be zero, right? They'd cancel each other out. It's basically just moving from money from this account to this account is all we did. Okay, so you didn't lose anything there. You just moved it to the stock category. And I followed whatever it said you said that you wanted, however you allocated. Like if you took the washing machine out of savings, or you took all of your life events out of checking, or if you split it halfway whenever you deposited your paycheck. Some people will put $300 in checking and $450 in savings. If that's what you said to do, then I made those adjustments. And whenever we did stocks, whenever you purchased, I would look at the history and make sure that that was the correct value. And I got that information from finance.yahoo.com. So you can actually go back and look at every day of the week. So when we purchased that stock for Sonia from Amazon on February 8th at $169.65, that is what we put in here, $169.65 on February the 8th, 1 unit of stock. If you had two, you purchased two, right? You purchased another one from Nike, then this is multiplied 2 times $94.37, and then that gives us the price here. Well, I did every single stock that you purchased and tracked it, and then I totaled it all up in one category. So here you could see that this $427.96 is your total value that you had at the end of the semester of your Shopify, Nike, and your Apple stock all together. And then this amount is what got added in here for your final $425 value. So the spreadsheet calculated everything for me. I did not have to do any of the calculations myself. I just had to make sure to allocate the money that you said the way you wanted to allocate it. I followed your directions. So whatever you said to do, I did that on these spreadsheets so that the money would come out as close to what you guys anticipated it to be as possible. Because, there are a few calculation errors done by hand, and that's okay. I let the computer calculate. This is, if you look at the calculation, it's this amount times 0.005 for your savings. I did that every single time, and it calculated and added it every week. So the following week, the amount here is the savings plus the savings interest. And I did that every single week so that it would add back into that total so you could get compound interest on your savings account. Now, some people allocated more money to their savings accounts than others, but I tracked everybody's according to the spreadsheets that you turned in, the worksheets you turned in. So everybody started with $10,000, and then you received the number of paychecks based on your attendance. And then I added up everybody's life events. And Sarah Gibbons, I am so sorry. I don't know why the wheel hated you, but you had the largest amount of life events of any one student. And I did a comparison of how many paychecks you received versus how much life events you had to pay, and you were the only one who was negative. Most people, their paychecks that they received covered the life events. Yours did not. You went in the whole $2,600. But even with that, you were still able to grow the money that you did have by $500, which was a 7% growth rate. And that was pretty darn good. So I did a calculation, first of all, of your paycheck versus your life event. And most people's paychecks covered the amount of their life events, and they had money that basically this amount, if you look at your subtotal, the subtotal is the amount of gain from your paychecks versus your life event plus the original starting $10,000. So this would just be the number. The subtotal amount is the amount that you should have had with your starting balance plus your paychecks minus your life events. That would be your flat subtotal. That's with no interest. That's with no stocks. That's just flat addition and subtraction. Your net worth total is the actual amount from your spreadsheet that I did. And if you look, all I did was I went to Addie Bell's and I clicked on this. I said in the summary, I said equals, let me pull it up, equals that cell from Addie Bell's net worth column. And that's what the number, I didn't type the number in and make a mistake. It's copying it directly from your spreadsheet. So if any calculations were changed, it takes the actual current amount. Now I did a comparison of your net worth minus the original amount, and this is the amount of growth. So good job on everybody. Everybody had growth. But what I also did was I took the amount of, your net worth divided by your subtotal to get your growth percentage as well. And your growth percentage is, everybody had a 1%, which means you kept the original $10,000. But then your growth rate is the percent, the decimal out to the end. So for instance, Addie Bell's growth percentage was 3%. And Abby's was 5%. Brianna's was 5%. Sonia's was 9%. Liz's was 6%. Sarah's was 7%. And Anna's was 2%. Whatever that percent is, that is the percent of points. Those are the points that you received in addition to your test and quizzes average. That's how much I added to that score for you. Some of you have over 100% as your final grade for econ. Some of you, this bumped you up to the next GPA. Some of you had close to a B, this bumped you up to an A. So the points are worth it. To those of you who do not turn in your portfolio, if you are happy with your grade and you don't want any extra bonus points, fine, don't turn it in. Keep it. But this really helped some people. And if you want those extra bonus points, give me your binder this coming Thursday, and which would be tomorrow. And I will do your calculations, and I will put that into your final score. But that is all I have. I just want to say kudos to everybody who participated, and I know it was fun some days and it was painful others, but I feel like it was the best way that I knew to teach you that you can't always plan what's going to happen in your life. Stuff is going to pop up that you don't have any control over. You're going to have a water pipe burst. You're going to have that washing machine just going to quit on you one day. You're going to be washing clothes, and it has happened to me before. You're washing clothes and something breaks. So you have to take all your clothes and go to the laundromat, or over to your mother-in-law's house, or whatever you have access to, or to a friend's house. But you still have to pay for the washing machine to get fixed or replace it or repair it or something, right? Life happens. Life happens. You never know when you're going to get a flat. You never know when you're going to have stuff happen, or when you're going to get the flu, when you're going to need to get a shot for something, or when your kid's sick. Life comes along and surprises you. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's always best to be prepared and have a plan. And having money in a savings account is not extra money. It's not extra money. Having money in a savings account is money that you need to have for emergencies that will happen. They will happen. So, if you have not done the Dave Ramsey Personal Finance that we offer as a class, his recommendation is that you first begin by putting aside money until you have $500 in an emergency fund. At your age in college, a $500 emergency fund is a good starting place. Because what if you drop your phone and it breaks? What if you have a flat tire and you need to replace your tire? It's there, and you don't spend it on anything else except an emergency. And if you have enough cash on hand that you don't need to dip into your emergency fund to pay for the emergency, then don't. Take it out of your cash. But you start with that, and then you create a budget, and you plan how you're going to spend the money on regular stuff. Right? You know how you're going to spend your money on regular stuff. By the time you graduate from college, or by the time you have a job, you need to have an emergency fund that is equivalent to 3 months of your salary, your take-home pay. You need to have 3 months of your take-home pay in a savings account earning interest, so that when health problems arise or your car dies, you can replace it. Because at that stage of the game, you're not counting on your parents to help you pay for stuff. You need to be able to pay for it on your own. It's not fair to them who had to shoulder their own burden. You need to shoulder your own as well. So that's the short, class for personal finance. Be prepared. Like a, Boy Scout. We can be like little Girl Scouts or whatever. We can be prepared too. I'm going to quit rambling. I'm going to let you go. I love you all. And I'm so proud of all your effort. And I've enjoyed having class with you guys this semester. And I'm going to save all of my tears and mushiness for graduation day. And I will see you then.